What's up, guys? Mike here again, coming to you from down here in the dungeon. Today I wanted to talk about the real world, and this is going to be kind of a hard thing to explain. I'll try not to ramble that much, but so you got to think about this in almost like levels of think about it as like concentric circle rings going out, like the solar system, or like an onion, like layers or something like that. Okay, so with you at the very middle. Okay, so the real world for you is like you, right? And everything that happens in your daily interactions. Okay, some people have kind of a small world. Some people have a little bit bigger world, depending on some, these circles. How many rings in the circle that you've got? Okay, so what does that mean? So your daily activities and your daily life, okay, they all mainly stem from this circle of you, the center circle. Okay, so your interactions with the world. Okay, and so those, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that you were in control of the center circle, you, which is the most important circle, and how you go out into life. So then, maybe the second ring of your circle is like your significant other, or your friends, or family, or children, and those people that are kind of around you. Okay, so these are the people that you have reach to, and that may be the extent of most people's circle. Okay. Other people, say if you've got a large social media kind of a thing, then you've got another circle. So these are almost like circles of influence in a situation, right? Maybe if you're, if you're head of a company or something, maybe that's another like circle. So you've kind of got influence over an area, okay? But the world out there, okay, so you're in the middle, and the world out there is not friendly, in the sense of like, we're still in a social situation and a culture, no matter where you are in the world, where you have to take. Like, let me say this. Let's say that being independent is it's your goal, and this highest sort of level of thing that you're trying to achieve. Okay, so in order to get there, I'm not going to call it successful, because successful is, that might be a blanket term maybe we could use for it, but successful can mean so many different things. But let's just say that you want to be self-sufficient. Okay. Now, this sounds kind of selfish, self-sufficient, selfish, but what happens is, like, you can't give, say you want to help somebody, you can't help somebody if you are in need of help in the same area, right? Like, it would be stupid for me to give food away if I don't even have enough for myself, okay? Or to give money away if I don't have enough for myself, or anything like that, okay? So self has to come first, essentially, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that this is a very much dog eat dog kind of world, where you kind of have to have that mentality, okay? Like, you're not going to find somebody who's a bigger proponent of win-win than me, okay? I wish that everybody could win. I'm constantly seeking out win-wins because, I'm not the kind of person who is inherently like I want to take from somebody and not give them anything back, or not feel like we're equally getting something out of the deal. Okay, like I'm not that kind of a person. Like maybe I'm not great in a shit hit the fan scenario, right? Like, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I guess it just depends. But I'm very much a win-win kind of a person, okay? But the world, okay, it doesn't really work. It's not really, doesn't really work well in that way, okay? There's a lot of, you've almost kind of got to be a little ruthless, or at least have, that, ruthless sort of dog-eat-dog mentality to kind of get shit done, you've got to scrap. You have to scrap in this world if you're ever going to be self-sufficient. So you've got to take. You got to be a taker. Now, like I said, I like to be in win-wins, right? So I think the win-win mentality is more of a future. So for example, I can take without giving anything back, but eventually, I'm going to be known as the taker, and it's going to get harder to take, or it's going to get others are going to get wind of that, and it's going to be much more difficult for me to get what I want. Okay, because people are less likely to engage with me. But if I can win-win, then I can take and give, and take and give, and take and give, and take and give, and then people will, people tend to like that better. Okay, right? So it's sort of the concept of play, right? So if you continually beat someone up, eventually they're not going to want to play with you anymore. But if you let them win sometimes, or if we're getting closer to 50-50 on our wins and losses, then we're going to continue the game, because it's interesting, and there's always that chance, I'm going to win this time, so you've got to have that mentality of I want to take. But if you're looking long-term into the future, you've got to be able to give and take, okay? You could almost look at it as just the take mentality works well in the short term, but then there has to be, for any long-term sustainability, there has to be a give and a take, okay? But you got to have that take. You got to have that aggressive take to even get started, okay? And that's what you got to, that's the thing that you got to know, is that nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to give you a handout. If you want to be, let's say if you want to be financially independent, okay? Because that's my goal. I want to be financially independent, where I don't, they call it fuck you money. That's the goal. Fuck you money, okay? You've got to take. You got to be willing to take, and so you got to be willing to get out there and take. Now, what happens is there's an exposure. Okay, this is very much. This is what happens in the animal kingdom. We are animals. Okay, we're apes. Okay, but what happens is that you'll notice this in all animals, for the majority of animals. Okay, is that most animals don't want to engage in an altercation that's going to risk harm to themselves, okay? It's even in us. We're very hesitant to interact with another individual if we think that there's going to be some kind of harm. But the thing is that you have to develop the courage to do that anyway. You have to expose your belly, okay? Like, you have to, right? Like, symbolically, your belly is your soft place, right? And like, look at it like an armadillo, right? An armadillo has armor all over its back, but you roll it over and its belly is soft, okay? So it doesn't expose its belly often, right? Because it doesn't want that to be taken advantage of. Like when a dog rolls over, right? This is a sign of submission. It's rolling over and it's giving you its belly. It's giving you its softest parts, okay? But you gotta have the courage to expose that belly, okay? In order to get what you want. But it doesn't mean that you do it stupidly, although you're gonna be stupid and you're gonna, and that's totally fine, actually. It's totally fine to be stupid sometimes because that's how you learn things, but also it just happens. Like, it just is. Now, you don't want to bet the farm on something, that's another saying. You don't want to bet the farm on something that may not work out, but especially the older you get. But you got to be able to expose your belly. So you got to be able to expose yourself, and you got to be able to risk taking some hits. And it's especially easier when you're younger to take hits. Okay, like, so if you don't have any money, then you ain't really got nothing to lose, right? If you don't have a family, you don't really have nothing to lose, okay? But when you get older and you start to get, a little bit of wealth built up and you have a family, you got more to lose, so it's, it's less risky. This, is involved in the stock market too. The more you got in it, the more risk, okay? If I have $100 invested in the stock market and somebody has 100,000, they have much more risk involved than I do, okay? Now, it also would depend if that's my only $100, obviously, you know what I mean? And if the other person's a billionaire, you know what I mean? But just say there's two people who have relatively, are at the same level, and one is in way deeper and has way more to lose, but they also have a lot more to gain, okay? So you gotta be willing to get yourself out there and expose yourself to gain anything, and it's difficult and it takes courage to do that. But in the real world, nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody. So I'm talking about every single person, whether you're black, white, Asian, male, female, young, old. You have to be the person, okay, that if you want to get something, you got to get it. I can't be like, hey, would you go over there and get that for me? No, I got to get it, okay? And obviously there's level to this. If you're an old person and you have given control of your life over to somebody else, okay, right, it's a little different. If you're super, super young and somebody has control over you, but I'm talking about like if you're an adult, okay, and you're fully autonomous, like nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to enable you to get what you want, okay? And some people might be thinking, oh, well, some people do get handouts. Yes, some people do. But you know what they don't have? They don't have what they want. Because ultimately, at least I feel, what people want is they want to feel as though they did it, like they achieved something, okay? To feel as though that they did it on their own, that they were somehow that they imposed their own will on something and they won, okay? Now, there's tons of examples of people that get stuff that don't have this, right? But I don't think that those people are actually truly happy, and they're not content. They're not truly content, okay? Because there's a self-respect thing. Because see, this is why I've never been into PEDs or cheating. Like, I'm not like cheating somebody or cheating at a game or, I've lifted weights for the majority of my life, like taking steroids, because what happens is that if you cheat, you always know it. There's always that asterisk, man. It's like, yeah, you know, like I've got this and that, and I won this or won that, and blah, blah, blah. But there's always that asterisk where you're like, yeah, but could I have done it without that? Right? And people, I think people want that. Most people aren't going to get that, but everybody can. It's like everybody can, but then they're too fucking lazy, or they just settle, or whatever the fuck it is. Like everybody has a dream, you know? Everybody has that thing that they want, that dream, and then they'll give up on it. Because, or maybe something will come in and it'll be like they'll settle, right? They'll settle for that rather than actually grabbing the thing for themselves. Okay? But then you always know. You got that thing in the back of your head. It's like, oh man, it's like the one that got away, you know? Or like, you know, and everybody has that. They have those regrets. And this is, what is it? This is life after 40. We don't want to do that. And if we've got those in the past, okay, if we've got those regrets or those things in the past, the one that got away, the thing that you wish that you would have done that you didn't do, do it. Do it. Do it now. Okay? So, what I'm trying to get you to understand, baseline, is that the world will eat you. The world will eat you if you let it. So you got to take control, and you've got to get yours. You got to take yours. Okay? And while you're taking, if you want to take for a while, you're going to have to give back. It's going to have to be one of these. Right? Where you're gaining, you're gaining and losing, but you're gaining more than you're losing over time. Okay? But you got to do it, because if not, you're homeless. If you just sit on your fucking ass and don't do shit, you're fucking homeless. That's the deal with these homeless people. Okay? It is. Like, I realize that a lot of them are mentally ill and a lot of them are drug addicts. But guess what? There are treatments for those things, right? Like if you're a fat fucker, okay, there's ways to lose weight. If you don't have money, there's ways to make money. If you're unhappy, there are ways to be happy. If you're homeless, drug addict, mentally ill, there are ways to solve those problems. But those people are the ones, for the most part, who have given the fuck up and have laid down. And it ain't just the homeless people. It's the guy in his fucking basement, you know, that's just fucking around, playing video games, jerking off. Like, if you're doing that, you are by definition a fucking loser. And if you don't want that to be your reality, then you gotta start winning. And you can't win all at once. You gotta win incrementally. Like I said, you just win more than you lose over time. Okay? But you start now. I don't care if you're fucking 40 or 41 or 47 or 49 or 50 or 70. It doesn't fucking matter. If you've been a loser all your fucking life, just start now by winning now. Win something, right? If you read the 12 rules for life, number one, I think, is clean your bedroom or some shit, right? Like, that might be your win for today. Okay, read the book, I guess. I don't give a shit what you do. All I'm saying is that you've got to go out there and get it. You've got to go out there and get it. And it really doesn't matter, like, you know, I'll end with this because, you know, I want my children to see this, is that you don't, look, we have these arbitrary numbers in society, and they don't really mean anything. Like 18, right? Or 21, or 30, or 40, or whatever. If you're breathing, you got the ability to do shit, okay? So don't wait till you're fucking 18 to start doing shit. That's a loser mentality. That's a loser mentality. Don't wait till you're 18. Oh, when I turn 18, I'm gonna start a business, or I'm gonna start my own company, or when I get the, when I turn this, then I'm gonna do this or that or whatever the fuck. No. That's how losers operate. Okay? If it was me and I could go back in time, I'm starting businesses when I'm fucking 10, right? I'm starting businesses when I'm fucking 10. I start by mowing the neighbor's yard, okay? And then by the time I'm 18, I'm pulling in 6 figures a year with a fucking lawn mowing business, okay? Because you don't need to wait. There's no sense in waiting. You just start doing something, right? And maybe it starts with cleaning your room. Maybe it starts with doing the fucking dishes or the laundry or whatever the fuck. But you just get up off your ass and you just do something and get your little win today. And then tomorrow you get another one, and maybe all you can muster today is to do the fucking laundry. And then you lay on your ass and play video games. Well, you won a little bit. And tomorrow maybe you muster up whatever. But you got to start somewhere, okay? Maybe you need to apply for a job, okay? Or maybe you need to, you can't apply for a job unless you have a resume. Okay, well, maybe today you just make a resume. And then tomorrow you apply for one job. And then the next day you apply for another one. And the next day you apply for another one. Oh, shit. And then what? And then 10 days you've applied for 9 jobs and you're probably going to get one of them. Maybe. I mean, as long as you're applying for stuff that's applicable. Okay, just start doing something. The world isn't going to give you anything. You got to grab that motherfucker. You got to grab that motherfucker and make it work for you. Right? And then when you get what you want, then that's when you can really give from a place, right? Because ultimately what you want to do is you want to get to the fuck you money, and then you want to improve society, right? Everybody hates the fucking billionaires and all this shit, and I don't fucking blame you. If you're a fucking billionaire and you're sitting on your pile of gold like Schmog, I think that's his fucking whatever his name. Yeah, you should be hated. You should be hated. But if you have improved your station in life and now you're using your resources to improve the world around you, or even those circles like I was talking about, that's what you're supposed to do. And then you can do it with self-respect because you didn't cheat. You did it on your own. And now you're like, oh, like I am the God King of my circles of influence or whatever, right? And then whatever. Then you die. I don't know. Whatever, right? Everybody dies. Weird way to end this video, but what I'm trying to tell you is the world's not going to do it for you. The world is a very, very dog-eat-dog place. And if you ain't at the table, if you don't take your place at the table, you will be served on the table.